My name is Siddharth Kalelkar, but everybody calls me Sid. So it's Sid Kalelkar. I'm an agile evangelist, and we're going to talk about the theory of colors. So before I start, has anybody even heard of the theory of colors? Anyone? Nope. So what is the theory of colors? It's all about, as we always say in Agile, we should always start from the history. As usual, folks that have attended my previous workshops know this. We always start with some history. In Agile, we must ask ourselves that all important why. Why? Where did this theory of colors come from? Who's the guy? Well, since you guys haven't heard of him, I shall progress. This was the guy. His name was Johann von Wolfgang. German origins, he was a German, and he is the guy who discovered and proposed the theory of colors. And this was way back. This was in 1810. Johann von Wolfgang, he was a poet, he was a philosopher, he was a writer, he was a lawyer. I can go on and on. In a nutshell, that guy was a genius. So what did he propose? What did he mean when he said the theory of colors? He discovered and wrote the theory of colors in 1810, which I just told you. What he proposed was how are colors perceived? What is the perception of the colors? When we say colors, obviously, we are talking about 1810. And there was, when he was talking about color, he was talking about colors in nature, right? So we're talking about, for example, the grass is green, the trees have got green leaves, the sky is blue, the earth is brown, and da-di-da-di-da. And how do we perceive these colors, and what impact do they have on the human mind? So what does the human mind think when the human being sees a particular color, right? So it was, like I said, in the 1810 when he proposed this, and he came up with a few ideas. Like I said, he was a poet, philosopher, writer, and lawyer. And he wrote the theory of colors in 1810. And his entire theory was around, like I said, the perception of colors and how human beings perceive those colors, what they think about those colors, and so on. That's a 400-page document. I'm not going to go through that, of course. But this was his theory, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Now, that was way back in 1810. So he spoke about how human beings look at colors, how they perceive colors, and what pleases them. So when you see the color, for example, you see the green grass, you see the green trees, yeah, you feel nice, you feel refreshed. Yeah, so you like that because it reminds you, oh, nature all around me is all nice and green and fresh. And you look up and you see at the blue sky and you think, wow, that's nice. This was the basics, the very basics of what he discovered and what he proposed. This was, like I said, way back in 1810. Then a lot of time passed, 160 years. 160 years, or 150 really. But it was in the late 1960s that Johann's theory of colors was revisited by another genius. That was an artist. And surprise, surprise, that artist was from India. So he was the guy who revisited Johann's theory of colors, and he picked it up from there and he says, well, this was way back in 1810. Does it relate even today? We're now in the 60s. right? And this guy was Professor Jyotibhatt. Professor Jyotibhatt was the Dean of the Faculty of Fine Arts in the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda, as it was then known. It's called Vadodara today. So he revisited Johann's theory of colors, picked it up, and made his own study based on that theory. And he tried to pick it up and take it further, right? Jyotibhatt, as people know him, but his full real name was Jyotindra Manashankar Bhatt, popularly known as Jyotibhatt. He was an artist, a painter, a photographer, an intaglio artist, da-di-da-di-da. And he was another genius, like I said. He was the Dean of the Faculty of Fine Arts at the MS University of Vadodara in India. He is credited with introducing the contemporary school of photography, with this philosophy that an image or photograph should tell a story rather than merely evoke emotions. That was his whole concept. So moving away from the traditional thinking was, you copy an artist. That's what a photographer did. He says, no, I don't want to copy an artist. I want to take photography to an art form on its own, in its own rights. And therefore, he picked up this theory of colors and took it further. It was in the late 1970s that he introduced the idea of applying the theory of colors to presentation of images. For example, a portal or a website, and how the choice of colors can affect or impact a user or visitor. We make a nice, beautiful website. End of the day, we don't make that website for ourselves. Whether it's a portal or a website, I'm going to use the word website now. But the website, end of the day, we didn't create that website just to please us. We made that website for the user or for the visitor, for somebody who's going to come to my website and see it. So his ideas were introduced as part of the curriculum for the postgraduate students in the Faculty of Fine Arts. Like I said, this was in the 70s, 1970 to be precise. So an artist, painter, photographer, intaglio artist, loads of other stuff. He's a photographer, da-di-da-di-da. I won't go into details again. And he was the dean at the MSU Vadodara University in India. And in 2019, just about 3 years back, he was even awarded the Padma Shri by the President of India. He's 87 years old now, still alive, but now he leads a retired life. And he introduced the contemporary school of photography. So photo to tell a story rather than evoke emotions. Because the whole idea was he was applying the theory of colors to see how my colors are going to affect, or how are they going to impact somebody who's visiting my website. So let us first understand how people perceive colors. Right. I think loads of people in this group, there are 11, 12 people. I think a lot of you are either Indians in India, or you are from the Indian origins, like myself. I am of Indian culture and origins. If somebody is not from India, at least they might have visited India, they might have gone for a holiday or whatever. Can somebody in this group tell me, in that country called India, where do people wear the most bright colors, the most loud colors? The reason I ask this question is because that is where Jyotibhatt started his journey in understanding this topic. Because he is trying to look at, colors, what impact, how do they affect us? How do they impact us? So he started with that. It's where in the country do people wear the most brightest colors, the most loudest colors? Anybody in this group? Please unmute yourself and speak up. Can anybody tell me?
Rajasthan.
Fantastic. Who was that?
This is Pinaki.
Pinaki. Thank you very much. Fantastic. You're absolutely right. Like I said, in the late 70s, he introduced the idea of applying the theory of colors to present images, taught how the choice of colors could affect or impact a user visitor to the postgraduate students in fine arts. And like I said, he got the 2019 Padma Shri Award. So we come to perception. As Pinaki just now told us, very correctly, absolutely correct, absolutely fantastic. The people in India, where they wear the most bright or loud colors, are people from Rajasthan. Look at that. These are the people of Rajasthan. Look at the bright colors. Look at the loud colors they wear. Yeah. If it's red, it's bright red. You know, it's what we call post office red. It's not some mild red. If it's green, it is absolutely leaf green, grass green, right? If it's orange, it's not just orange, it is badak orange, kesari as we say. Look at that. These are the people of Rajasthan. Look at the guys. Look at the colors they wear. Absolutely bright, absolutely loud colors. Here's another one, right? So the tribals of Rajasthan are the people who wear the brightest, loudest colors. Now, can somebody tell me just why do these people wear such bright colors? Why these people wear such loud colors? What is it? What makes them wear these loud colors? Anybody? Pinaki? You're the guy who gave the right answer. Can you tell me why they wear these loud colors?
Yeah, I am guessing like it's like part of culture, and another one it is a desert. So to reflect that, that might be my answer, but I'm not sure about that. So
You're brilliant. Absolutely right. The vast part of Rajasthan is desert. Yeah. It's all sandy, as you can see in this picture. They're sitting on sand dunes. So, desert, nothing grows there, right? You may find the odd tree or an odd bush somewhere, but otherwise nothing grows there. So where nothing grows, you see, in these people's lives, what they are missing is flowers. They might see the odd bush, they might see the odd tree somewhere, but they have no flowers in their lives. So what they are missing is colors. Because normally, naturally, if you had, for example, in your garden, if you've got some nice, beautiful flowers, maybe a rose, maybe some other flowers, some dahlias, these people they don't have flowers. So what they are missing in their lives, they express by wearing that. They don't have colors in their lives. So they are expressing themselves with these vivid colors, these bright, loud colors, these bright colors to express what they are missing in their lives, right? So this is what Jyotibhatt discovered, because he went in depth into why these people wear such bright colors. What's the reason? And he found out, well, there you go. These are people who don't have flowers in their lives, who don't have brightness in their lives. Is lucky if they even see a tree or a bush. So they wear these bright colors to express what they are missing in their lives. So the human beings will use colors to express something that they are missing. They are missing those colors. Now, just because he saw this, He was not convinced. He said, yeah, well, this is Rajasthan. I've seen it here. Fantastic. So Jyotibhatt started studying people from other parts of India. That guy literally traveled across the length and breadth of India. I'm not going to go into his entire study, but let us see another example. And for that, we visit the south of India. So we're looking at Karnataka, Coorg, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, etc., etc. All right. So from the medley of colors, which we just saw, we're now going to the south of India. Remember, this was to ensure that this idea was not an outlier. It was not an oddity. He extended his study to other regions of India. There you go. So he goes to the south. He goes to the south and he looks at all these people there. Here's another picture. Here's a third one. Right? Now here, in all these pictures, the one thing common which you will see is that the majority of the people are wearing white. If it's a shirt, it's white. If it's a kurta, it's white. If it's a pant, it's white. Trousers, it's white. It's a dhoti, it's a veshti, it's white. Everything is white. The reason is the people of the southern peninsula of India are of dark complexion. They are naturally, their complexion is dark, right? So what are they missing in their lives? They are missing the color white. So they express what they are missing by wearing starch white clothes, because that is how they express themselves. Look at this picture. Most of the guys in the picture, you can see they're wearing white.
I just want to interfere. This is Vijay. Okay. So,
Yeah.
usually the politicians wear white. I think it became a trend. So, whatever the photo you have shown,
Yeah.
I can agree that people are wearing light color. They are not wearing bright color. I agree.
Yeah.
But white is not that much common. Maybe some school uniform, politicians, so some category of people. But
Yeah.
uniquely, some people wear always white. That is very exceptional cases. If you look at here, light color, you can say gray color, may not be,
Yeah.
of course, it's not like Rajasthan. I totally agree. I think this perception, whatever the topic you brought is totally new. It's very interesting. So, just to interfere on certain part of it, thanks. Go ahead. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much. Of course, the whole point of this topic is to have a discussion. But this is how, as I had mentioned, we have just seen the effect of colors and how humans perceive them, or perhaps how it affects that perception. And we looked at how that manifests itself across geographies. Now, let us look at some other examples, right? So this is not just about India or Rajasthan or the South or whatever. So let us go a bit further, because that is what Jyotibhatt did. He went further. So he went to the Middle East. Now that is the flag of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia. That's the place where Prophet Muhammad was born, right? Now, like we saw in Rajasthan, the majority of Saudi Arabia is desert. Because it's desert, it is even a worse situation than the Thar Desert of Rajasthan. The Thar Desert goes up to about 45, sometimes 47, 48. In Saudi Arabia, 50 degrees and over is normal. Absolutely nothing grows there. So what he was missing in his life was greenery. And therefore, he made green as the color to represent his region, to represent Islam. And that's the reason why you have green. We saw that in Saudi Arabia. The other thing to note is, which is not really exactly to do with colors, is, but then again, when you are living in a region where where the temperatures are so high, where the heat is so bad, where the sun is so strong, right? You're sweating all the time. You're feeling the heat on your back all the time. People in that region are not going to be praising the sun, are they? They won't. The guy staying in Saudi Arabia in the desert, he feels a bit of relief only in the evenings. When the sun goes down, he's, at least now it's a bit better than what it was. And that's the reason they gave importance to the moon, not to the sun. Saudi Arabia. When Pakistan was born, Pakistan adopted the same story, and they adopted the green color. And like you can see in the flag, they have moon as their symbol, right? Now, let us see what happens. Now, here is the flag of the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates did not have the green initially. They gave importance to the color red because they wanted to project themselves as courageous, and we are full of valor, we are fighters, we are very brave people. But then, because Prophet Muhammad was the founder of Islam and Islam spread, they adopted the green color into their flag as well. You can see the green there. Let's go a bit further. Oman, like the UAE, they adopted the green as a part of the flag, but it's not the main color of the flag. If you contrast with what Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have got, they do have the green to represent Islam, but it's not the predominant color. It's one of the colors in the flag. Now let's go further afield. That's the flag of Iran. Again, you will see they have adopted the green color, but as part of it, right? Now we will go even further than Iran. So as you move away, now the reason why you see that difference is because Saudi Arabia was majority desert. Pakistan just adopted that. But as you move away, you go to the UAE is not predominantly desert. They have other geographies as well. They're not 100% a desert place. And so on. As you go to Oman, again, they're not 100% desert. And if you go to Iran, what used to be formerly Persia, in fact, they even have a coastline. So they are not 100% desert. They have got a mountainous region, which is a big attraction for tourism. So they were not 100% desert, which is why they did not give that same prominence to the green color that Saudi Arabia gave. Right. Now let us look at some modern day examples. Real world applications. Anybody heard of IBM? I'm sure you have.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, fantastic. IBM. Now this story goes around the late 80s. Now IBM discovered they were when after the 70s, after the oil rush and so on, they had expanded their market. They went into the Middle East, and they were selling their machines, their computers and stuff in all over the UAE and so on. And suddenly they discovered that for some reason, Persia, which today is Iran, was not really, they were not picking up their stuff. Their sales in UAE were great. Their sales in Oman, in Sharjah, in Dubai, even in Saudi Arabia. But for some reason, the people of Persia, like we say, today we call it Iran, but the culture is Persian culture. They're not very happy. They're not, the sales are not going up. So IBM hired McKinsey, one of the world's leading consultancies, and paid them a huge $200,000 fees to say, find out what the hell is going on. What is going on here? Why are people not buying our machines in this particular region when even their neighbors are buying it? We've got great sales in Oman, in Sharjah, in Dubai. And what's wrong with these guys? Why are they not interested? What's going on? And somebody there in McKinsey who was doing the research, they went there and they found nothing wrong. So the billboards are there, all the advertisements are there. There are advertisements on their local buses. There's advertisements on their when you go to the cinema hall, you see an ad for IBM. You see posters everywhere. And says, what the hell? Why is not sales picking up? What is going on here? What is wrong? And then one of their consultants who was of Indian origins, she was a lady. So she called for help because she was of Indian origins. She tried to figure out this stuff. She couldn't figure it out. And she called people, her friends in India, and she says, what's going on? And she came across one of Jyotibhatt's students. And she said, can you decipher is there some problem here? He says, yes. The problem is the IBM's corporate colors. You see this color? This is a tomb in Persia, in Iran. Can you see the color of the top? The dome?
Blue color.
Yeah. Here's another one. You see the dome? So she was informed the problem is that in Persia, in Persian culture, they associate this color blue with death. The only time you use this color is when these are actually very small blue colored tiles, very, very tiny. I mean, think of it about, half an inch by half an inch tiles, which are painstakingly plastered onto the top, right? And she was informed that this is the problem. The problem is they associate this color with death. So the average guy in Persia, in Iran, he's thinking, hang on, you want me to spend money to buy death? You want me to spend my hard-earned savings to buy something that is associated with death? You think I'm crazy? No. Once they had learned this is what IBM did. They reversed. They got rid of that background blue and they made just the IBM as blue. They tried that for a while. And then they tried other variations. Black and white. You can't argue with black and white. It doesn't matter. There is no color. It's black and white. And then what they did, they went one step further and they made black on white. Here it was white on black and they made black on white. They said, let's look at how people perceive, from this is not acceptable. So we'll try this and we'll try this and we'll try this and we'll see what works.
It looks like the current world design thinking, almost like changing the color and experimenting.
Yeah, exactly. And believe it or not, within 3 or 4 months, their sales started picking up. And then they went even one step further for the larger, they used to sell IBM mainframes in those days. That's what they did for the IBM mainframe. And this color scheme applies even today. IBM mainframes, this is the corporate color for IBM mainframes. There are multiple colors. We don't care which part of the world you come from. Some of these colors are going to appeal to you. That's it from me. Any questions?
Okay, maybe it's out of topic, but there are two other point of views. Like some people always wear black, but there is a general suggestion that we should not wear black always. That's one. Another one, the paint of the home or office, and like for example, the eating area, living room area. There are some theories or concept, definitely guidelines. So yeah, just to relate to colors. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I had raised hand actually, maybe it was not seen. So my name is Shreya Desai, and first of all, this session was really informative and I would say an eye-opener for many of us. And thank you so much for explaining it to us so beautifully. One small question I had was that how and where did you get all of this from?
Okay. Okay, that's a good question. Hang on, I'll just stop the share. Right, great. Sorry, I saw the hand only now. Yes, very, very pertinent question. You are a true agilist, Shreya. You from India? Where are you in India?
Yes, I'm from India. I reside in Pune, Maharashtra.
Okay, great. Cheers. Thank you very much. Thanks for that. Okay, so this is going to sound very, very odd. This is going to sound very boastful and vain, but where did I learn all this? Where did I get it from? From 1977 to 1983, for 5 years, I was a student training under Professor Jyotibhatt. That's how I know this.
That's very interesting. Yeah. I thought you were going to say that
Yes.
you read it somewhere or something, but this is more interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's why you are able to explain with more passion or touch. Actually, that's great.
No. See, which is why I didn't want to say this. I am a nobody. I am a zero. This is. It's just that
when we say that, then only we'll start learning. Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
No.
learning is.
Pinaki has his hand up.
Yes, I have one question. Like how we can link it with agile, like this color and agile in the real-time way. Is there any way to you can link that one? Any idea from your side? Any suggestions?
Well, if you're talking about agile, then you must know you always work with the product owner, but the product owner is not alone. The product owner represents the business, and all he's doing is from the business. But behind the product owner, on the product owner side, you have a BA, a business analyst, right? In an ideal world, in ideal circumstances, the PO himself comes from a BA background and has BA knowledge, but doesn't always happen. But then if that doesn't happen, then usually, I'm sorry, I'm talking about the Western world. I live in the Western world. I don't live in India. But the product owner, if he doesn't come from a BA background, he has a BA that is associated with him to help him. In our world, is the BA who actually really writes the user stories. He translates what the PO wants. And the same way, on your side, if you're a Scrum Master or you're looking after a team, then remember you have the guys who are doing your CI, CJ, CX, the customer interface, the customer journey, the customer experience, the UI, UJ, the user interface, the user journey, the user experience. And they are the guys who must understand this. What happened? That I gave you the example of IBM. IBM they're not stupid. They've got the best talent in the world. They've got deepest pockets. They can afford the best guys. But still, nobody had thought that, hey, what impact is this color going to have on this particular market, on this market which is in this geography? They are not going to like this. They're not going to like this color because they associate it with death. They think that when they think of deep blue, that corporate blue is very unique of IBM. And in this particular geography, they say, oh, this is the color of death. I don't want to die. You want me to spend money, pay to buy something which is associated with death? You think I'm mad? I'm crazy? So nobody in the IBM's team had given a thought around how this color scheme is going to affect or impact the market we're trying to enter, the geography we're trying to go in. You can't please everybody. Okay, fine. I can understand. If you're planning a portal or a website or some design, you cannot make everybody happy. But at least you can take care that you don't offend somebody. Like IBM did. They tried various color schemes to see what becomes acceptable to that market. So it's only in that region that they use those color schemes, not the rest of the world. The rest of the world was as it is. But if you go to the Iranian site of IBM, and that is the color you see, which is different from what you see if you went to IBM UK or IBM US or IBM Japan or IBM anywhere else in the world, you will see the normal IBM colors. But in that region, they use a different color scheme because they want to engage with the customer in that region. So this is again part of your, as I think Vijay just said, the design thinking of how you are going to plan what you want to do. What is your market? Who are the people you want to attract? You want to tempt into your business, because basically what is your portal, what is your website is a representation of your business. I hope I've answered the question.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's fantastically you explained this wonderfully.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes, we also know, like, for example, marketing of any big organizations, correct? They can't do the same strategy in every country, because they need to understand their local culture and respect their culture. For example, you want to sell something in China, you want to sell something in India, you want to sell something in Africa or US or UK, you can't follow the same strategy. That's why they try to get those local people, get their ideas. But actually, even though we know that, but when you started this topic, even it was totally unique. So, and how this theory of colors can be implemented in the current situation? Any suggestions?
Well, like I said, you have to. Yeah, I mean, yes, I understand. IBM can afford to have, 20 different portals and 20 different sites, and not everybody can afford that. So, like I said, you can't please everybody. How can we ensure that, okay, these are the geographies which we want to attract? This is where our customer is. This is the geography they live in. This is their culture. This is how they think. These are the color schemes. At least let me see how I don't offend them. See, if you see that IBM example, they didn't remove the blue. They just changed the shade. Instead of that corporate dark blue which they had, they made it a very lighter colored blue. Very light, sky blue kind of thing, very, very light colored blue. So they tried that. Then they tried the black and white, and they tried the multicolors. And they said, let's see what works. So the same way, you have to think that if my market, if my customer, if my user, if my visitor is sitting in this country, how, and that is his culture, how can I ensure at least I don't offend him? I may not make him happy, but at least I'm not offensive. At least he doesn't have a negative thought about me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. One habit in one country may not be the same in another country.
Exactly.
How we respect people, body language.
Yeah.
So this one part of it. Yeah. When we go for marketing, business deals, correct. So you need to respect the local culture. So globally, so we need to consider all these aspects to make the business run successfully. Yeah.
Right.